Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Here we are. Yeah, afternoon. Some of you it's early morning and some late night. Emily, here, I'm going to introduce my daughter over here is calling out questions for us today. So, Emily, say hello to everyone.
Hello, and hello to everybody we've got Florida, from California, from the UK, from Canada, somebody from Australia.
Is up at 4 a.m. Is that what she said?
Yes, thank you for staying up.
Thank you. We love having you here. Yes. So today we are going to do this beautiful bird of paradise because we were feeling a little bit of craving for some paradise. Although I will tell you guys, Meagan actually slipped away to Hawaii for.
I did.
we were cheering for her.
Weeks ago.
Yeah. So we're going to bring paradise to you since not everyone gets to go fly to paradise.
Yes.
Yes.
It's perfect for today because it's a little dreary outside.
It's a little dreary. It is. So something I know we forgot. I think we forgot last time, but we are going to do a giveaway today. So I wanted to remember to announce that first. And
yes. So we have to remember at the end.
At the end. So remind us. We have Anna over there. We have a full house today.
We do.
Now that things have kind of shifted and we're able to come together. So Anna, don't let us forget to do the giveaway. So what we'll want you to do is go ahead and write. Let's see what we're having him do. I can't remember. It's been so long. Time has gotten good.
What is the next holiday?
Yes. So
it is Memorial Day is the next American holiday.
Yeah. So go ahead
or
and
what are you doing for summer break? Summer's coming soon.
Yeah. So why don't we have you guys write in? This is how you enter. Just write a capital. What capital was it, Anna? Was it a capital A? Do capital A and then write your answer, what you're going to do this summer. If you have any little getaways that you're planning to do this summer. And then from that A, you have to write the A because that's how we'll know to select that you're entered. We will pick a winner at the end. And we're going to send you guys a fun little treat of craft materials. So yeah, we're excited about that. So remember, go ahead and ask your questions. Write them in the box. Anna will be answering some of those for you online, and then Emily will be calling out to ask us questions as we're going through the class. Some of you are new, I'm sure. I hope we have some new people here, and some of you are in the master class right now. So I hope you're having a good time with that. I love seeing your flowers. I love seeing everything that's coming out on our Facebook page. Yeah. All right, so any questions yet, Emily? Are we good to go?
Good to go.
Okay.
Good to go. Cool, so let's talk about the tools materials we need first. We're going to be, for our crepe paper, we're going to be using our double-sided ferns and moss. That's just for our leaves. And then the green we're using for the flower is going to be juniper. And our heavy.
Yep. These are my own little packets that I make for myself, you guys. This is how I stay organized.
Yeah, and then for our petals, we're using mango. And for the stamen, you can really use whatever color you like. Mix it up, whatever matches what you want to be doing. We use teal and coral in ours. Today I've actually cut out, what color is that? The darker orange. Nectarine? No.
If I had my swatch book here, I could tell you guys, and I was actually looking for it as I'm looking around.
Tangerine?
It could be tangerine. So it's the darker orange.
It's the darker
you can
orange
see.
I've cut out today, just to show you guys like different varieties you can do. I also think it would look really pretty with like a lavender.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
Purple as well.
And then here's the coral inside this one. So
it's a little more subtle.
Yeah, you can really, kind of pick the color to match whatever theme you're going with.
They come in so many different colors.
They do. I love that.
Yeah, and then we're using a couple of different colored PanPastels today. Oh, I just touched the hot glue gun. We are using, I don't even know, how would you pronounce
this? One's magenta. Oh.
We're using magenta, which comes in our Leo Griffith PanPastel set.
I'm going back to art school.
Yes.
It's called phthalo green.
There you go. Phthalo green tint.
Even though
which is kind of like a blue color.
Yep.
Light blue. We have our paint brushes to apply those with, a curling tool, wire cutters. We're going to be using our floral tape.
The lightest green?
Yep. I use the lightest green color just because we're going to be kind of coloring over it with PanPastel so that you don't have to cover up a dark green.
That's nice.
If you have like a cream color, you could also use that.
Right. Okay.
But I wouldn't use the dark green. We have our thick stem wires, 18 gauge wires. You're going to be using these for the leaves and the flowers. And then our 24 gauge white wire.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you're going to use your white glue. You may want to use hot glue for parts of it. You don't really need it, but when we are wrapping the space, I believe, or sheathing on this, you may want to use hot glue to get it to stay if you're having trouble with the white glue.
Sure. Okay.
And then we're going to be using toilet paper or paper towel, whatever you have on hand.
Tissue
paper would work.
Yeah.
Just to bulk out this bit.
This is the first for us.
Yes. I believe on like the jumbo one, I stuffed it with
Maybe cotton.
it was the like stuffy puff.
The stuffy puff. When I said cotton, I was thinking stuffy puff. But yes, the non-cotton.
Yeah.
Cotton. Yes.
Just got that. I also brought the Krylon finish spray. You may want to spray this on it because we're using PanPastel if you don't want it to transfer.
Yeah. And I'm going to point out.
So I just brought this to show you.
You have the gloss here, and we generally say
like to use the matte. I actually used this on a project this month, and it doesn't actually look glossy when you use a really thin coat.
Right. It doesn't.
So
they're
this
very,
is just what
very
I had. And then we have our template, which we're having printer issues, so you can only see the top of my template is cut off. But just pay attention to your grain lines on everything, and same with your leaves. Everything should be set up for you in the files exactly how
if you're cutting. If you're cutting on your cutting machine, do not rotate if you're cutting on your cutting machine because Meagan set those up for you guys.
Yep. All right, so we already have everything cut out for you. We're gonna start with
or for us, not for them.
Yes, not for you.
That would be yes. That would be fun. Do we have any questions yet?
That many things out.
Just lots of fun summer plans.
Oh, good.
Cool. We're gonna start with our white 24 gauge wire, and we're gonna go ahead and cut that into 3 just even pieces. So they should be about, I'd say 3 inches each. Normally these would be 12-inch wires. So
12-inch wires, 3 inches each. Yes.
Or 4 inches each, whatever.
4 inches. Let's do some math.
4 inches each. Right.
I'm not the best at math either, so.
I just wasn't. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, I'm totally kidding. Can you grab some more white wire for me?
Yes, I will. Okay, you need more than one piece.
You need more than one piece of wire. I just realized you need 3 pieces for each bit.
So the fun thing is that Meagan designed this and made this over a month ago.
Yeah, and so I always do like a little overview in the morning before we do this, but sometimes bits slip my mind. So you're gonna need a wire for each petal and a wire for each stamen. So that
total
will be
for each flower. Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You'll need 11 4-inch wires.
Any questions? No? Come on, you guys, bring us some questions. Challenge us. You can also call out comments if you want to.
Yeah.
Anyone, tell me some places some people would be traveling or having
It
some
looks like
fun.
a lot of people are really excited to see family after a long time.
Yes.
Oh, right? I know.
And it looks like a lot of quarantine babies.
Oh, a lot
Yep.
of quarantine. Well, welcome babies.
Yep. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and take our stamen. Should have 3 of them. And we're gonna take our white glue, and you can go ahead and measure the length. We're gonna glue the wire down the full length of your stamen. Almost the full length, not quite.
Okay.
I'm gonna say leave the top inch
Okay.
to ½ inch without wire. So I'm gonna just stick mine in my glue. I don't remember if it works with these.
I think it does.
Uh-oh. Like if it'll have enough glue on.
You want to use that one? Just switch me.
Yes.
Throw the other one over here and I'll use
All
it.
right, we're gonna set it down the center. There you go.
Now throw me the other one.
Oh.
Okay. Just
switching
doing a little
wires up.
adjustment here.
All right, we'll just set it in the middle. And then I'm gonna add, there we go, that should be good. You see my hands. We're gonna fold it over and kind of almost stretch it as you fold it so that it's just really in there.
We've got our first question.
Perfect. Yes.
What kind of glue are you using?
Oh, I knew that would come up.
I know. We've been trying out different glues.
Yes,
Or glue containers, should we
Well,
say.
and glues. We've been trying, we've been using Aleene's for a long time, and we do like Aleene's, but we haven't been really happy with the delivery system.
How it comes out is
Right.
a little
Right.
thick.
So we've been looking at different bottles that have beautiful tips, and then we also, someone suggested to use the art glitter glue, which, by the way, does not have glitter in it. So thank you for suggesting that one.
We were confused
And
at first.
yeah, and this is just a little inexpensive bottle that I got on Amazon, but we're going to sort this all out and give you guys best recommendations
Yes.
as soon as we can. We have a few more we're testing over here, but what we're looking for is a nice long point, and then we need the glue to be smooth and soft enough to move through, and then we need the hole to be big enough to slide the wire. So that's kind of our criteria.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you're gonna, before you let your glue dry, you want to open this back up. Which I
Okay.
might have just glued it together on accident.
So you're really sandwiching that
Yeah,
wire.
you're just sandwiching it and then you're opening it back up.
Okay, and that's why this method of sliding the wire into the glue is so important,
It
because
does.
you don't get too much glue
Yes.
and it doesn't ooze out.
So open that back up and then
Nice.
we'll just set it to the side and let that dry for a little bit and then we'll come back and shape it.
All right. Any other comments? Whenever we have this silence.
I know. Whenever we're working on
We
Something
do have
else.
one more question.
Mhm.
Tina asks, sometimes when I use the clear finish on items with PanPastel, the color disappears or lightens. Do I need to use more PanPastels? What are your suggestions?
I would say putting on the thinnest layer possible of that clear finish would be a starting point. And if you're still seeing it disappear, then try using more PanPastels.
And maybe even layer it.
Yeah.
But think of it as you're almost dusting
Yeah.
dusting this
You
this
don't
spray.
want to like saturate it with your spray.
That was a really good question. Thanks for
Mhm.
asking that one, because I'm sure that's something people have issue with. Okay.
And is the frosted paper 2070 weight?
The frosted
Oh.
paper. This is actually crepe paper. Is that what they?
I'm
So-
not sure.
Said frosted
Okay.
paper,
Let
but
us know, Jean.
Okay, so 2070 weight,
Mm-hmm.
270 grams.
270 grams. So, yeah, no, this is we're working with crepe paper today, and our crepe paper, we actually, not to confuse you all, but we don't really go by gram with our crepe paper. I know that's the Italian crepe paper does. The reason is because the weight is for the full roll, and since we don't sell them in the same, we should do shorter rolls, it's not an accurate way of measuring for us, but we would say this is comparable to, Anna, you're gonna shout this out for me because you know this better than anybody. So our heavy weight is comparable, I think, to 140 gram. Is that about right? 140, 160?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's right in there. Again, we don't really talk grams that
Yeah.
often, but so it would be comparable to the Italian crepe paper.
And another question is, barely art glue too thin to use with crepe paper crafts?
Like a white, like Elmer's glue. I feel like you could use it. It just might
Yeah.
not. It might be a little thin for some applications,
Well, and
like runny.
and
but-
yeah, and I think it also depends on how much you put on. So if you're using something that has a really fine point like this, you can use a more watery glue, which actually squeezes through better. I was having a hard time getting Aleene's glue through some of these.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right. So once
So it's
you've
the
done-
amount. It's the amount of glue you squeeze through. I'm still working, but you keep
Okay.
going, girl.
Yep. Once you've done these, go ahead and set them aside and let them dry while we go ahead and glue some wires onto our petals. So, for the petals, we're only going to put the wire just on the stem of that petal that I've left there. And I'm just going to apply the glue right to it. And go ahead and attach that wire.
Teresa wants to know more about the glitter art glue.
Yeah, so the glitter art glue, this one I'm kind of grabbing the most this morning. It is thinner.
It is a little bit thinner.
But the delivery is really good. So
it's called Art Glitter Designer. Dries clear.
Dries clear, and there's no glitter in it.
Yeah,
it's
there's not actually glitter.
Yeah, it's a brand. You know, her brand is Art Glitter. So I recommend it. You can get it on Amazon. You know, try it out if you like it. I mean, I think you could blow through this pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a much smaller bottle compared to the Eileen's. It's only 2 ounces. But it is easier to hold in your hand working with. So.
And let us know what you guys think. You know, give us some votes on your favorite glues because we want to provide a one-stop shop for you. And if you're buying crepe paper, you might as well, you know, grab all the materials and tools to go with it. So we are so wanting to know what you prefer and what you guys like. Okay.
All right.
So same thing, you're sandwiching them?
No, I'm not sandwiching them. I'm actually just attaching them to the little stem of the petal there.
And sandwiching that part.
Sandwiching that part. Yeah.
Sorry.
Correct. I just kind of roll it in my fingers so that it's really attached and flat around the wire because we are going to be attaching these to each other and we don't want it to be bulky, which is why I'm not using hot glue for any of this.
That makes sense. You kind of have to hold it though since it's...
Yes.
Yeah. This takes a minute.
Yeah.
A couple people are saying that they really like the glitter art glue.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm actually liking it too. I think it's a great one. And I really appreciate whoever suggested it or those of you who suggested it. There's probably a few of you.
Yeah.
Chantal says her favorite is Anita's Tacky Glue.
Anita's Tacky, okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of glues, you know, the difference between glues might be the thickness, but for me also it's the delivery bottle. That's super important too. So
that's important.
So finding that perfect combination.
Yeah, like I use Eileen's and I have this bottle that they like don't sell the glue in anymore and it's this just really squeezy soft tube and I love it and they don't sell it.
I think the squeezy soft tube would be very helpful.
Yeah. It makes it so when you're doing a lot your hand doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Meagan, if you want to just go over the pieces you've already made, a couple people are feeling a little confused.
Yes,
a lot of petals for this one.
There's a lot of petals.
A lot of petals on wires for this one, which isn't something we normally do. It is definitely a flower that's constructed a lot differently than any other flower. All right, so I'm going to go back to the stamen, which are these. We have 3 of them. And so we've sandwiched the wire down the middle. So you can't see the wire anymore, but you've pulled the edges of the stamen back out so you still have the same shape as when you cut it. And we're going to go ahead and shape this now since the glue is pretty dry. And I'm going to bend the wire first into kind of an S shape. The top is going to come up like that, and the bottom is going to go back so that you have this. Which way do I show you? S shape.
And you have 3 of those.
And you
per
should
flower.
have 3 of them per flower. And now the top bit of the stamen, I'm gonna go ahead and stretch the crepe paper at the bottom and almost cup it as much as you can with those small pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and take my curling tool and just curl the top of it back a little bit.
So how many of the large petals do we have? Are there 8?
8.
8 of those? Okay. So 3 small ones and 8 large ones.
Yep.
Okay. I have not made this flower at all, so this is really fun that I'm a beginner with you guys today.
All right.
I love this opportunity to jump in and make a paper flower from heavy crepe paper.
Yeah. Yep.
Which
'Cause
we don't
do
do it as
very
much.
often.
I know there's some artists out there who prefer heavy. We kind of prefer double-sided and light.
I prefer the double-sided light just because you get the much smoother finish. But I thought with this like fun, playful flower, you needed a little bit more structure for it as well, since the pieces are so long. And now we're gonna go ahead and shape our little petals. And I'm actually, with this, I'm gonna take some glue and I'm gonna put just a tiny line of glue down the middle. And we're not using any wire for this. We're gonna do the same sandwiching. I'm gonna pinch it with my nail just to like stretch that crepe paper over the glue. And we're gonna open it back up right away because we don't want it to stick together too much. And this glue will dry clear. So don't worry if there's some in there. This is just to give the petal a little bit more, even more shape and like body, because we'll go ahead and stretch this out after this dries. And the nice thing about this glue is it dries super fast. So by the time I'm done gluing all of these, that first one will already be dry enough for us to go back and shape.
So quite a few steps in this flower. And,
Yes.
you know, you guys, you can go back and watch this video again. And I know Meagan has all the steps written out as well.
Yes. We'll be posting the photo tutorial once this video's over.
And there will be a photo tutorial.
Yes.
Which is something new. That's something
Yes.
that you guys have been asking for. So that once you watch the video, you can just refer to the photo tutorial as a quick reference.
So it's a pretty simplified, it's just like detail photos of each step with like just a little blurb.
So thank you, Meagan.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you
At
for
the
doing
bottom.
that. Yep. Yeah, having this really fine point is so helpful on the glue for sure.
Yeah. And this flower, it has a lot of steps, but there aren't very many petals comparatively.
Compared to next
our
month.
next month has a lot of petals.
Stay tuned. We're going to show you next month. We're kind of going polar opposites
Yes.
in flowers. They're both beautiful.
Yes. You can also, another trick for applying this glue in a thin line is you can put it on a wire and just tap the wire.
That's a good idea.
To do less. If you're struggling with having too much glue, I kind of just wipe it away when I open it up and find that it dries fine.
So just to clarify what she just said,
Yeah.
you would slide your wire into the glue bottle, pull it out, and then just drop the wire onto your paper to
Yes.
apply the glue. So that's what she's referring to. For the new people who haven't seen us do that quite as much.
People are excited about the photo tutorials.
Yes, that's so good.
Started adding them, I think last month's flower I started doing them. So
It's probably helpful for you too, because
it
then
is.
you
I can go and look at it before I come and teach all of you. Just glance over it real quick.
Yeah, we have so many flowers that we do, and we're always, trying to bring you guys new techniques that are more efficient and get a better finished look. So this is fun. So when you open them up, you're not stretching them yet. You're just
I'm not
flattening
stretching it yet
Okay.
because it would stretch a little too much with the glue
With the
in
glue.
there.
Okay. So you're just flattening it, letting it dry.
Yep.
Okay. Did you see any bird of paradise when you were in Hawaii?
I don't feel like I did. It was like a weird time. I don't feel like very much was blooming quite yet.
Okay.
I don't know if more like blooms in the summer there or maybe
Mm-hmm.
it already bloomed, but I definitely didn't feel like I saw as many flowers as I have before.
Emily asks if you could give us the name of the plain blue bottle that you got on Amazon.
This one again?
Just one
Oh,
more.
no, I
this
think
one?
the plain one.
This one, you guys, I'll give you a link because I don't know it off the top of my head. But excuse me, Anna, I don't know if you can pop into Amazon and see if you can see it. It actually came with a bunch of different tips, and this was the one that I picked that I like the best. And the nice thing about this, it is really soft, and you can keep refilling it. But I do recommend that you don't fill it with a glue that's super thick.
Yeah.
You might even want to water your glue down just a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, we'll bring you more as we go. I think these are both not huge investments, so it's fun if you guys want to play with glue as well. It's not like a new pair of scissors or something.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go back to the first one you did, and it should be about dry enough right now. And you're just gonna slightly cup each side of your petal. And then with the tip, I actually took it and kind of like crunched it and twisted it, and then I used my curling tool to curl it in the same direction you just cupped your petals. And we'll adjust these more once we get them on the flower as well. I always like to shape them a bit more to my liking once they're on the flower, because I can see how they're gonna lay a bit better.
I'm almost out of glue in this one.
Hopefully we don't need that much more glue.
No.
Alright. Any more questions?
Tina says, you mentioned working with fine crepe paper for most of your flowers, and that she likes it too, but she asks if there's anything to give it a little bit more stability, but not as much as the double-sided.
Yeah. So, Tina, I don't know if you've taken our masterclass yet, for our paper flower masterclass, but I do talk about it a bit in there. And there are some flowers that we do that we just work with the extra fine crepe paper as is. That I feel like the way it's built, it has some pretty good structure.
Shape it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then there's other flowers that we make, quite a few, like tulips and lilies and hibiscus that you can make with extra fine. And we do that by putting the wire inside the petal, and that really, that changes it. So yeah, if you haven't taken that yet, we will be offering it again this fall. So be sure and get on the list for those of you who are interested in taking that class. It's really, really fun. And you learned quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like, heavy crepe paper is a great place for beginners to start. And I've also seen advanced use heavy crepe paper, but they kind of restructure the paper a bit.
Yeah.
So, but it's a good one for beginners, and yeah. I like becoming friends with all styles.
Alright. So I have all of these shaped, and so I'm gonna group these into the petals we're going to attach to each other. So we're gonna have two groups of 2 petals and 1 stamen. Oops. And then we'll have a group of 4 petals and 1 stamen. And then this is just so. And you want to pay attention as we're attaching them what direction the petals and the stamen are facing. So we're going to go ahead and take some floral tape, and I'm going to take 2 petals I'm gonna put them next to each other facing the same direction, so the cup is facing the same direction, and I'm gonna go ahead and place the stamen behind it. The cup of the petal is also facing the same direction. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape this, and then I'll show you guys a little bit better how that's attached. I'm gonna go ahead and, there you go. So you have your 2 petals, and their cup is here, and then your stamen, and the cup is facing the same direction just behind them. So I kept confusing myself the whole time I was making this flower.
Right.
What direction all the petals needed to be facing.
So it's almost like they're all facing the same direction.
They are.
The cups are all going.
Yep, the cups are all going the same direction for these ones. And then you're gonna, your second group of 2 petals and 1 stamen, you're gonna do exactly the same.
Yep.
This is why I needed the flower in front of me.
Yeah.
It's like I know I'll mess this up if I'm not looking at it.
And you know, if you do mess it up, you can probably
fine.
just turn them around.
You can, yeah, you can totally adjust them once you have that taped together.
All right.
Elaine and Krista are both asking about frosted paper master classes.
Yes. That's great. Okay, you guys, we just finished filming the bulk of it. We just have 2 more videos to film. I'm looking at Brittany because she's standing over here. We have 2 more videos to film to finish that. We're just our intro videos and the cutting machine video to go with it.
Yeah.
And then we should be releasing that soon. And the flowers that we're doing, there's some new ones in there and there's some updated ones in every single one. We had so much fun.
We did.
It was a really easy class to film. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. So just stay tuned. It will be coming here this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and so for your third grouping where you have the 4 petals and the stamen, you're gonna take 2 petals and the stamen and make it just like you made your last 2.
Okay.
So.
There we go. Thanks for asking, you guys. I love hearing your excitement for new things that we're bringing.
Yeah. All right, and then with your last 2 petals, you're gonna attach them just behind the stamen, facing the opposite direction. So they're going, the cup is gonna face away.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I would say this for any flower. If you're making multiples, do all of the same steps at once to kind of keep your rhythm. And so you might make all of these bundles for all your flowers and kind of keep
just
them
have them sitting out and ready to attach to your flower.
Yeah, it's just a good technique.
Yep.
And Laura wants to know about the color variations one more time. What colors can you do the bird of paradise in?
I would just suggest looking at photos. I always like to just change with this one I was enjoying just changing the color of the stamen. But I know I've seen bird of paradise that are more reds. I think we saw like almost like a white and like purple one, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just do a quick Google search and grab some inspiration, because you can always cut out these pieces in different colors if you want to.
Carol wants to know if you'll be coming back to the craft store in the UK again.
Yes, we are coming back. It looks like we're not able to come in June because they already had their shows booked out, but we are going to be there twice in July. So
Nice.
Anna has some dates on those if she wants to type them in, and believe me, we will let you know. So yes, we'll be back. And we're going to do our best to have, you know, everything you guys need. If there's things that you really want us to have, to carry and to show, let us know. We were a bit short on stock the first time, so we did the best we could. But if you're looking for a certain tool or something that we can assist, I can't promise you, but we'll certainly look to get it there. Okay,
Yeah.
your turn.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and take our wire cutters. We're gonna use the pliers just to bend.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and bend it. I'm trying to think what direction. So the stamen, if you're looking at it from the side, your stamen is curling to your left, and so you're going to bend the wire 90 degrees to your right. I'm going to go ahead and set that down, and you're going to do that with all of them, and just make sure you're bending it at the same point down. It should be like just a little less than an inch below where your petals start.
Christine wants to know, how do you estimate how many flowers you want to put in an arrangement?
Okay, well, you know, I always like to go in odd numbers. So you could do a 3, a 5. I think once you get past, I mean, you could even do a 3 and 3. That's sort of an odd number combo. It depends on your arrangement. But you know, it depends on how big you want it. I think 3's lovely. I probably wouldn't do 2. I think
No.
you could. You could always break the rule and do 2. Yeah. I think 3's a good
we
number.
always do like 3 or 5.
Yeah, 3 or 5. But if you're wanting a huge arrangement, you know, they're just really great flowers for that really big, punchy, tropical arrangement.
Yeah.
So 3, 5 would be my kind of first hit.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and line these up.
I love your questions, by the way, you guys. Keep them coming.
And we're gonna attach these together. So I'll kind of show you where I've placed them once I've got some tape on this to hold it real quick.
I'm almost caught up with you.
All right, so I am attaching them just side by side with the where it's bent just lined up. And I'm gonna go ahead, so the 4 petal grouping is first, and then we're gonna do the 2 petal grouping and then another 2 petal grouping.
So the 4 petal grouping is at the front of the flower.
Yep, it's at the front of the flower.
And then the 2 and the 2. Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of like the face of the flower and then the little mohawk, all the hairs right on the forehead.
Yep. There you go.
And then it gets a little lighter as it goes
think
back.
about it.
Brittany's looking at me really funny.
I love it. I'll have a hawk like that.
We could probably arrange that, Brittany.
All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and trim off some of this extra wire. That's a lot of extra wire that I do not want to deal with. And I'm gonna leave it so that, because you still need something to attach this to the flower. So let's give ourselves at least an inch, maybe an inch and a half of wire. To work with.
Now this floral tape, we will be coloring it with PanPastel.
Yes.
But having the dark, it makes it harder. The light's best. If you have white, that will work too.
Yep, we also saw
Light green or
like
white?
cream colored
A cream color will work.
PanPastel, or cream colored tape.
Tape.
Sorry.
I
Here.
don't think we have a cream. Well, we kind of have a cream PanPastel too. Okay.
Oh yeah. Put this purple white.
So I went back and added some tape, so I went all the way up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking ears. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you want your tape to be all
Kinda
the way
show this.
underneath the neck.
Yes,
Yeah.
you want it all the way up to the base of that petal.
Mm-hmm.
So it should look like this. And we're gonna go ahead, set that there for a second. We're gonna go ahead and grab a 18-inch or 18 gauge green wire. We're gonna take our pliers to bend it. I'm actually just gonna measure. You're gonna go ahead and take your, what did I call this? I keep forgetting. Sheathing? Yep, sheathing. And I'm gonna put the tip of the wire at where the notch is on one side of the sheathing, and then I'm gonna bend where the other notch starts. So that is 4 inches. We're gonna go ahead and bend it just about a 90-degree angle. And now we're gonna go ahead and attach our petals to this wire. Or our flower, top of our flower, the mohawk, to this. And the reason we cut this wire off is I don't want it to go past the bend, and so I'm actually probably gonna have to cut a little bit more off. Because I only want these flowers to go, or the mohawk to go about an inch past that bend. So I'm gonna cut just a little more off. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use some floral tape.
Yeah, ask.
Shirley wants to know, how far above the vase should the stems be?
Okay, that's a good question. Thank you, Shirley. I mean, I'm more and more questions about arranging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, this we just kind of plopped into the vase, but I actually think it works well. And I'm going to show you guys a little funny. I actually bent my leaves because I wanted them in deeper.
Yeah.
So I usually like to look at the vase being no taller than, so you want to at least have 50-50 or higher. It could be 50 per, or let's see, let me do that. So it could be like a 30-60, but you want the flowers to be taller than the height of the vase. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you want to, here's the vase.
Shorter vase, taller flowers.
There we go. But not too short. You don't want it to be too short.
Yeah, you don't want like a little.
Yeah. Just, you know, work on.
Unless you're doing one of those, what are those arrangements where they use like the small flat one?
Yeah. Like an ikebana.
Yeah, there you go. Unless you're doing one of those.
Unless you're doing one of those.
All right, now we're going to take our toilet, once you have your flowers attached, we're going to take our toilet paper.
Megan, I forgot to listen to you. When you were telling
it's
me.
about 4 inches.
4 inches, okay.
Yeah.
Real quick, before you do that, can you move the flowers and overhead forward a little bit?
Oh, yes.
There we go. Perfect.
So you can see my...
This is a full team experience today, you guys.
It is.
You could hear us all.
Gail wants to know really quickly what
Yes.
notches you were talking about with the sheath.
With the sheathing, there are, if I can get an overhead view real quick, there should be little there are little notches on each end of the sheathing where it's like just a slit cut into it. It's a little triangle cut out of it. And that's where the length of your wire is between the tip of each triangle. So it's about 4 inches. That's easier for you. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and take our toilet paper. Depending on how thick your toilet paper is, you'll need 2 or 3 squares. My toilet paper.
How many plies?
Yeah, my toilet paper was a little bit thicker than this,
Yeah.
so I grabbed 3 instead of 2.
Okay.
And we can always cut it off a bit. So I'm gonna fold my toilet paper in half twice, so 4 times. And I am actually going to use a little bit of hot glue to get this started. Do I have the hot glue gun?
Yes, you may.
I'm going to actually put some glue between the toilet paper just to hold it together. And I'm going to go ahead and glue the toilet paper just to the end of my wire. Right here. So I'll show you this. So my toilet paper is folded in half twice, so 4 sections. Yep. And then I've glued it to the tip of my wire and it's hanging down like this. And this is where we're gonna start wrapping. And so we want our, this little beak to be thinner at the point, thicker in the middle, and then get a little bit thinner towards the end. Okay. So think about that as you're wrapping. So I'm gonna move it quickly towards the center as I'm wrapping. And I'm wrapping like pretty loosely. You don't have to, it's not floral tape, it's not crepe paper that you're wrapping with. And since this is heavy crepe paper, it's gonna cover any imperfections in your wrapping. It's not. And so I'm gonna wrap a little bit thicker in the middle, let my toilet paper be a little bit looser.
As I said, this is a first for us, Megan. Yep. We will not be selling toilet paper on our site.
We won't
so
be.
Just
Sorry. And then I'm going to skip the flowers or the mohawk and go around and wrap that about twice there. And 3 was just about perfect for this. And then you have your end of your toilet paper, which I'm just gonna use some hot glue to attach to wherever I finish. I might cut a little. I'm actually gonna cut just a little bit off.
Want some scissors?
Yeah. So that it ends on the, I want it to end on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Because that's just a little, I feel like it'll be a
Cleaner.
little cleaner when you go to attach everything. So you're already going to have some glue on top of it when we go to attach that sheathing. We don't need any more. Alright, so now you have your little toilet paper beak.
You're done with hot glue?
I am.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to use it on the sheathing. You can use on this next step. We're going to take our sheathing. You can use hot glue for this. It's not going to make it any bulkier. This is a personal choice on what glue you want to use. You're going to, for the notches, you're going to slide the wire into that notch.
Mentioned the grain on this one. Somebody was asking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the grain needs to be going the length of the sheathing. It should be going this direction.
So when you fold it, you'll see the grain right there.
So it should fold really easily, and those notches are following the grain. So this, we just cut out a square. You're gonna need scissors, I just realized. You
have scissors?
Yes, I have some over here. You're gonna fold this over, and we're gonna take our scissors, and we're gonna cut this to the shape of our beak. I didn't want to cut this to the shape
because everyone's
of my beak because
Yeah, it
when
might
you
be
wrap it
different.
with toilet paper, it might be a little thinner or thicker.
Yeah.
I thought this was a nice, easy way to, make everyone's work. So you're just gonna slightly follow the beak. You want it to be able to overlap just a little bit still when we go to glue, so don't cut it right at the beak.
And I'm cutting a nice
And
little arch.
yep, I'm cutting a little arch, and I'm gonna stop right when I get to the mohawk, and I'm gonna flip it and do this side. And same thing, just a nice little arch, and then stop when I get to the beak. And I'm actually gonna take it off, and where the mohawk is, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it so that there's like a little divot, just a really small divot in it. So I'll show it to you as soon as so either straight across right there or just a very small indent so that it can go around. So if you can see that indent that I cut for, and this is it folded in half, and this is it opened.
Go up.
Up, whoop. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna work on just gluing down one side at a time. So while I have it on the table, I put it this way and you might be able to see it a little better. Maybe, let's see. I'm trying to decide which way to hold it so that you can see it on the camera. Okay, I'm gonna add some glue. Wait, is there a cap on this?
Yes, sorry. I put the cap on.
I'm gonna add some glue down by the point and then just up along the top edge and behind those.
And if any of you are new today, this is your first.
This is a bit harder of
Yeah.
a flower.
If this is your first member make, please know this. This is, I would consider this an intermediate
This is,
advanced
yeah,
flower.
a more advanced flower for sure.
Yeah, so
These
don't feel
are-
intimidated, please.
Probably some new techniques for most people on here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and fold this over. The crepe paper should stretch a little bit easier when the glue's on there, which is really nice because you're gonna stretch it over.
Which
the
is also
side.
nice for the not using a hot glue because then you have that option. This one,
Yes.
this really goes fast. You have to be careful with that one.
Yes, and when you're doing the tip of your beak, it's gonna go all the way around the tip of that toilet
make a nice
paper
point.
and just kind of pinch it and twist it and make it into a point. Just work. That's why I like the tacky glue for this, but I could see where someone might want to use hot glue because it is a little hard to hold it and
Right.
gets all of your
Well,
fingers.
you could also sort of start it with the hot glue on one
Yeah.
side just to keep it in place and then use the tacky
Yes.
finish. It's like molding. I feel like I'm
It
playing
is.
with
You're
clay.
kind of molding it a bit more. And with the end, we're going to do the same thing. Add some glue at the end. I probably could have cut off a little bit more. I didn't cut off quite enough. If you feel like you have too much crepe paper at the end, go ahead and cut it off. But you just want enough. You just want enough to be able to cover the toilet paper, really. You don't want a bunch of bulk there. Right. So it looks like this.
This is also a
With one
piece.
side.
I would not recommend this for extra fine crepe paper. This would need to
No,
be.
I think you'd disintegrate your
Your-
crepe paper a little bit. And you'd see, I feel like you'd see the toilet paper through it a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add glue to that second side. And when you're gluing the second side up, this is a point where you may have to adjust your cut. You might have to cut a little bit more off if it's coming up too high. It just depends.
But I am overlapping it a bit.
You're gonna overlap it, yes.
Okay.
And then same thing with the tip of this. Just make sure you have enough glue in there to really make it a point and kind of twist it. It is a bit like molding here. The glue makes it softer, and then it'll harden and stay in shape.
Laura says that her 6-year-old daughter is watching the class with her, and she really loves the magic that you guys do.
Oh,
Aw. Thank you. Thank you, Laura's daughter. Yes. Maybe you guys will see my daughter up here sometime making paper flowers. Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm looking at her.
All right.
It is really fun taking a flat piece of paper and making it into
this.
something three-dimensional. It's like little three-dimensional sculptures.
And if you're having a hard time covering the toilet paper in between your little stems of your leaves, I like taking either like the tip of a paintbrush or your scissors or your pliers, and you can kind of just get in there and like push it.
How about these?
Or your needle nose tweezers. Yeah, you can kind of pull it over and down, push it, put a little bit more glue in there. That might be somewhere where you want to use hot glue so that it sticks faster and holds. We're also going to be using PanPastel, so
that's going to cover
it'll
up a
cover
lot.
it up as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it as much.
I think that, me, I really love my hot glue because I like things fast.
Yes.
But you could also do a combination of the two. So I'm noticing that some of this isn't drying as fast as I want it to, so I might add just a little dot of glue in there just to hold it in place while the rest dries.
Yep.
So it's really, you have to kind of...
Yeah, that's why I put the hot glue on your tools list, just
to have it, yeah.
to have it if you needed.
So I'm kind of
little
adding a
bit.
dot at the stress points of,
Yep.
on this side, and that works really well.
Yeah.
All right.
Now we're gonna go ahead and take our, this is sepal, I think. I get so confused with what the pieces are called on this flower. It took me a little while to find
Right.
a good like anatomy template for this
Of
flower.
a bird of paradise, yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and cup this just a little bit. Go ahead and put glue all the way down it up to, leave about an inch unglued at the top. And I'm going to glue it onto the back. You're going to kind of hide where your crepe paper ends and comes together with this. And you can actually use a little bit of floral tape if you want to hold that onto the wire. We're going to be... Go. All right, and then this 18 gauge wire is not thick enough of a stem for this, so we're gonna go ahead and take a thick stem wire and I put the point of it all the way up underneath the flower, so it'll kind of hide, so there won't be too much of a transition between the two wires. And I'm going to go ahead and just attach it with some tape. And you can cut your 18 gauge wire shorter, so you don't need to use as much tape to hold it on if you want to.
And when I cut my wires, you guys, I always keep my little stems, my little pieces, because I will find reasons to use them.
Yeah, I have a little bowl of them. My short one's just sitting.
Yeah, every piece of wire will be used.
I'll use them for leaves at some point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, don't throw them away.
Yeah, this is a nice transition, tucking it right underneath.
Yep. All right. And now we're actually going to wrap. Could I actually get your juniper crepe paper?
Yes.
We're going to go ahead and wrap the stem right now because I don't want to be touching while I'm coloring with my PanPastel. I don't want to be touching that super sticky wire.
We have a question from Jean. She wants to know, Megan, when did you get started making paper flowers?
Oh, wow. Well, let's see. I've been working with Leah for a little over 4 years now. And I think I had made like 2 crepe paper. I was just going to cut you a piece. I think I had made maybe 2 crepe paper flowers before that, and they were very simple. My main thing is I knew how to use a Cricut.
Yes.
And I already knew how to make files for the Cricut.
And she you know,
so it's like
I had gone
to art
yeah.
and design school, and so I
Not that you all have
enjoyed
to.
making up
yeah.
projects already. So
Yeah.
it was an easy transition. I just learned.
Yeah.
My flowers now are much better than when I started 4 years ago. I will say that.
As are mine.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think Megan was such a great find. Yeah. She's really, I feel, mastering, developing.
Yes, I'm always learning new.
And finding new techniques and using some of your art school techniques. And yeah, you too can be doing this.
You can.
And you know, Megan doesn't make crepe paper flowers all the time. We have her doing other things as well. Like
Yeah.
Her macrame projects are great. She does, you know, fun
I've
home decor.
I've done sewing projects. I've done
leather
projects, clay projects.
Yep.
So many.
We love her look and her style.
Oh, I almost.
And
cut
she's
this
also
one.
becoming quite the frosted paper flower maker.
I do mostly crepe, but I do frosted. I mostly do frosted plants, and then I'll do a frosted flower here and there.
Well, if you haven't seen the pen cushion flower yet, this month is in this month's collection.
It goes with this.
Amazing. Yeah.
Very nicely. All right, so once you have your stem covered, we're gonna go ahead and take our PanPastel.
Gail wants to know how wide you cut the piece of crepe paper you're wrapping with.
It's about 1/2 inch. Yeah. It's the same. I'd say go with about the same width as your floral tape is.
Yep.
Which is 1/2 inch. All right, we're gonna go ahead and play with some PanPastels.
Fun.
Again, here you can use whatever colors you like. I was noticing the stems on the petals on a lot of them were kind of a lighter color. So I went with this blue. It looks a little gray when you go and add it. And I'm just coloring the stems of those flowers, and I also added a little bit down the tip of my beak as well.
Just kind of blending it in.
Yeah. And I love using brushes because you can do it really thick, but then you can kind of brush it off a little bit if there's too much and really blend it. And I'm going to take my magenta, and I colored the back petal stem on my magenta.
Looks like you kind of followed the top a little bit.
Yep, and I followed the top and kind of just under the petals.
Okay.
And a lot of Bird of Paradise, I saw this was red also.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you kind of just blend between the two of them.
Yep. Oh, and then once you're done with that, that's when I would take our spray, and you would just very lightly, just a really light coating. If you want to make sure it's like super really good on there, I would do like 2 very
coats.
light dustings of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's
And
go
that's
ahead and
it.
make our leaves.
I'm putting it in the.
Oh yeah, go ahead and add it to our
So now we'll have 5.
collection.
Well, you can see
There
what
we
5
go.
look like. Yeah. We have rice in here, you guys.
Yeah.
That's our little trick that we've talked about.
Yeah. All right, so for the leaves, I used an 18 gauge wire just because they're a little bit bigger. Now, Bird of Paradise leaves are huge.
Yes.
They are like
Ginormous.
ginormous. That they're not. You wouldn't use that in an arrangement.
Probably
so
not.
I made just small versions of those leaves for you guys.
Baby
All right.
birds.
Yeah, so we're gonna use just very small tropical leaves. Put some glue down the middle. For the 18 gauge wire, I just go ahead and apply the wire right to the leaf. And these leaves are too long to do the dip
Yeah.
the wire in trick.
And the 18 gauge is a little thicker as well.
Mhm. All right.
I'm finding this is the glue I'm using more
Yeah.
today. The glitter. That one was a little thick. So this would be a leaf that you could Mod Podge if you wanted to.
Yes, you can Mod Podge this leaf.
And if any of you are new to that technique, we have quite a few flowers that we do the Mod Podge. I'm trying to think. I think the one we did last.
The Crepe Camellia
Camellia,
has Mod Podge leaves, and so does the Magnolia.
And also it's in our master class.
Yeah. All right, and with this leaf, again, I thought the 18 gauge wire was too thin, so I went ahead and added just two leaves onto a thick stem wire. So I'm gonna cut this 18 gauge wire just so it's only about 2 inches long, and take some floral
I'm
tape.
almost done.
I actually need a little
Darker, I'll go get
darker
it.
floral tape.
Okay, here, you finish this.
Sure.
Do you want the brighter or the more gray?
The more gray green, I think, is what I used on those ones.
There you go.
Kathy wants to know if you'll be doing more watercolor flowers.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'll have to. If you guys have any suggestions for flowers, that might be good for. They're
Yeah.
always open.
We love to
To ideas.
Yeah, we love to hear your suggestions, you guys.
Yeah.
So definitely, and we write them down. Seriously, anytime anyone throws in a suggestion
We have
for a
a
flower, we have a
list.
list. So we start ticking
We
those
can
off.
work through it. So I'm going to take my 18 gauge thick stem wire and take one of the leaves and attach it to the tip.
And since we do our themes every month, you know, and this theme was tropical paradise, we wanted some sort of tropical flower,
Yeah.
and we hadn't done this one
No, we
at
haven't.
this level. We
Yeah,
had,
we
but
needed
not,
a new one. The other one was really big too. It wasn't necessarily something you would want to use.
Yeah.
All right. And then these wires I actually just left covered with
The tape.
the tape
Yeah.
because it was the right color. You can always cover with crepe paper if you want to match it perfectly. For this, you'd use this like cypress maybe.
Yes. And there we go.
Yeah, now you have some nice thick, and then you bent the wires.
I bent it.
Yeah, because sometimes they're too long if you want them.
Just because I like them more at the base and have the little birds pop out. Here, it's harder to get on. I'm gonna just fold, I'll just fold it more like this.
Oh, there you go.
And then I'll just kind of tuck that in.
Curling it up.
Yeah. And then you can arrange it, kind of move it around a bit. Of course, move the heads facing. Yeah. There we go. There's an instant arrangement.
Yeah.
What was that?
It's like a flock of birds.
Yes, it's a flock of birds.
There you go.
You can always talk out loud. Anybody on the set talk out loud.
Beautiful.
So, yay! There's 5 of us here today, so it's a lot of fun. All right. I wanted to remind everybody before we show next month to go ahead and, if you haven't put your entry in, to win our little goodie bag of craft materials, just make a big capital A and then say what your plans are to do this summer, and we'll pick someone in just a few minutes. So get that done. All right, Megan, are we ready?
Oh yeah, to show the
away
next.
with the birds. The birds are flying away. And back by popular demand. All right, we have had so many requests to do the Juliet Rose, and I'm actually, am I missing most?
Oh, we're missing a couple.
I think they're over
I think
there
all
on
the
the
buds
table.
went missing.
Well, they're over there on the table. I was photographing some of them, but so people have been asking us to please do the Juliet Rose as a member make, because we've had the Juliet Rose in other forms, and it was just time. So this is all made with extra fine crepe paper. So when you were asking how to work with extra fine crepe paper and make it hold, you can see how having so many petals just really gives it the body it needs. And I would not want to see this in a heavy crepe paper. It just would look too crunchy.
It would look too crunchy. I mean, you can already see the grain lines in that, so
yeah.
I wouldn't.
But then the leaves are wired, so that gives a lot of body to the. You could do the leaves and double-sided if you wanted to, but so we're doing this for you guys next month. It's a lot of petals.
It is a lot of petals, so definitely cut beforehand if you're trying to work with us. It's going to be one that you're going to have to go back and watch to make it. But it's really fun, and honestly, it doesn't take that long to make once the petals are cut out.
It's the petal cutting.
It's the petal cutting and a bit of the shaping that takes some time, but
but worth it. Yeah.
It's not too difficult.
It's a really stunning flower. And the thing that I'm loving about this one, Megan, is the attention to detail on the back, where you have, the back of the rose has this nice
the rose hip.
The shape, and then the beautiful buds as well. So there's just a lot of detail to this one.
Yep.
Whoops. Okay, there goes a bud.
It's okay.
We'll try not to step on it.
Yeah, it's under your chair.
So with all that, should we pick a winner, Anna?
Yes, congratulations to Susan Harwood for winning our giveaway today.
All right,
Congrats.
Susan Harwood. We'll be sending you a little bag of goodies.
Yeah.
So anything else? Do we have any more comments, or do we have any more comments?
Somebody was wondering what your favorite flower to make was.
Oh boy.
I enjoy making this one.
Did you?
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah,
there were a couple iterations before I got to this, and I looked at photos of just real roses,
which we
which we normally do.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll actually get a real flower and pick
deconstruct
it apart.
it.
That I didn't do for this because they didn't have them in my local store. But
yeah. I think for me, honestly, probably my favorite flowers to make. I love the anemone. I just love it.
We made it. You can tell we have so many different versions of it.
And I feel like it keeps getting better, even though there aren't as many petals. But it's just a simple, really beautiful flower. So that's what I would say. Anything else we have going on? All right. Well, we will see you guys next month.
Yeah.
What is the date again, Anna? It's June 18 for our member mix. So go ahead and mark that on your calendar. And remember, you can watch this video, The Bird of Paradise, again and again, and so that you can master this beautiful new flower. All right, you guys.
See you guys then.
Okay, bye-bye.